may give and they're $30, and you can give the money to Liz Purdue. Next Sunday, August 30th, is our 5th Sunday special collection for Lotus. This organization provides services to those that have been victims of domestic violence or sexual assault. Please consider a donation for this 5th Sunday special collection. Cash donated or donations or checks may be given, and checks in the form of TriUU, and under the memo line, please state what it is for. Our first forum of the season will be Thursday, September 10th at 4 o'clock. The topic is Building Better Balance, which will focus on practical ways of reducing the risk of falling. A potluck will follow. If you are currently not, and thinking of becoming one, and already have taken the class, we're planning a new member ceremony next month and would love to include you. Please see Helene or Andrea to sign our membership book. This concludes our announcements, but first, Reverend Kristina Spaude would like to address the congregation, and then we will recite our vision statement.
Thank you. So during this last week, the board and I met, as we do every month, and some of our board members and others have heard some feedback about concerns from the congregation about the possibility of hiring an administrative assistant. And so I just wanted to take a moment to address that head on, hopefully. There was some concern expressed that we have been rushing into this decision since April, which, if you think about it, is not much of a rush. I also want to point out that not only did we actually have this on the bingo card that we created during worship together in January of this year, this has been a goal of the Board of Trustees for the time that I have been with the congregation, which is now more than 2 years. And some of you even remember having discussions about this possibility when Reverend Janet was still here, and she's been gone for a couple years longer than I've been here. So I just want you to know that we have not been rushing into this possibility. I've lost my sound. Nope, okay. I lost hearing myself. I want to say personally, I am really excited about this. Y'all have been doing the heavy lifting of administrative tasks for this congregation for a long time, and you do a fantastic job of managing it. But over time, the pieces and parts have been sort of dispersed in different places, and having an administrative assistant will allow all of those pieces to come back together under one person and hopefully streamline some of the work. And personally, over the 2 years that I have been with you, the administrative tasks that I have been doing have increased, which is all right. I don't mind doing administrative tasks at all, but this will hopefully allow me to serve you a bit better by offering more time for pastoral care and doing other kinds of activities with you by having somebody else that I can manage instead of having to do those tasks myself. There was one more thing I wanted to say. I forgot to write things down. And ultimately, the purpose of hiring an administrative assistant is to help you, who are the church, you are the congregation, live into this congregation's mission even better than you are able to now. If you have questions after the service, I am happy to answer them, or Cindy will be happy to greet you. I will say a lot of time and effort has been put into making a job description, making sure that we're in alignment with employment laws. So know that This work has been serious. It has been time intensive. We are doing everything that we need to be doing and making sure that we are doing it right. And we are really excited for this possibility going forward. Thank you.
We will now recite together. We will now recite together our vision statement. Please join with your voice as we recite together. We will be an influential voice for progressive leaders in a diverse community. Our chalice keeper is Joan Shepherd. We invite those of you joining us on Zoom to light your chalice at home.
As we light our chalice, hear the words of Shari Woodbury. To all who are yearning for community, to all who are just getting started, to all who are curious and hungry to learn, to all with tender places needing care, come in, be among us. To those who have care to give, to those who have something to teach, there is room here for everyone. Come in, be among us.
Our opening words this morning come from Samantha Lynn Wilson. This is "We Practice Being Called." A call to worship is secretly a call to focus our attention. Choosing to focus our attention is countercultural. Daily, we are called to worship at the altar of many devices. Surveillance systems we let take lead over our every waking moment. We are called by headlines set purely on our activation and by tools that gamify our every human interaction. We are not called, we are led. We are not led, we are entrapped. Instead, here, we practice being called. We are called to bring our attention to the altar of unpredictable human relatedness. We are called by these ancestors, this wood, this room's particular light, this chalice's particular fire, and these people around us. We are called to focus all our attention on a foolhardy and open-hearted commitment to share a future together we cannot cancel nor control. In the words of the poet farmer Wendell Berry, we are called here to do something today that does not compute. Spirit of life, call our collective attention to this precise moment, the threshold between then and now, the moment upon which we hang our honest portraits, promises like portraits, chiseled and framed by our own hands, imperfectly and together. Come, let us worship together. Please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our opening hymn, Gather the Spirit.
Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle on flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in awe, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
Every once in a while, and I hadn't done it in a long time, I post on Facebook, what is something that the world needs to hear right now? And one of my colleagues answered that last post with this poem that I thought I would share with you. It's Desiderata by Max Ehrmann, which was published in 1927. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. Now, as we move deeper into our service, let us turn inward to consider transitions, the joys, sorrows, and concerns that we all experience in our life's journeys. There are 3 bowls of stones of different colors representing the gratitude of joy, the grief of sorrow, and whatever feeling you're having related to your concerns. After those present have placed stones in the water, our ushers will place stones from each of the bowls into the water on behalf of those not present in the building with us and those who have chosen not to or who are unable to come forward. Those online are invited to type into the chat to express what is on your heart. When all the stones have been mingled in the water, we will take a moment for silent meditation or prayer. You may now come forward. Let us take a moment to reflect on our own joys, concerns, and sorrows, and those of others in this beloved community. The chimes will bring us back into this space, and we will sing our responsive hymn this month, Spirit of Life, for which you may remain seated.
Time we will receive your offering. If you are visiting us for the first time, please do not feel that you must give, for you are our friends, and that is our gift. This is the time when those who wish to make monetary contribution to our vision and mission to give support to this community and its outreach. I invite the ushers to come forward.
Last year, Chaplain Katie Carson, who some of you may have met last summer, asked me to speak to the chaplain department for UF Leesburg and Spanish Springs during their annual celebration of Spiritual Care Week in October. This is a slightly pared down version of that talk. As a former chaplain, I deeply appreciated taking the time to recognize the work that all of the chaplain staff and the department are doing for those who enter the hospital in what might be some of the most challenging times of their lives. I am a clinically trained chaplain. I completed 9 units of clinical pastoral education called CPE in a single unit, a residency, and a fellowship, and considered entering educator training. I worked for about 2 years in another hospital setting after my CPE training was done, so I worked for about 4 years as a hospital chaplain. Unitarian, I introduced to them that I was going to be doing an intersection of chaplaincy and Unitarian Universalism. So Unitarian Universalism is a small faith, but what we have to offer the world, especially for those doing chaplaincy work, is, I believe, rich. I remember attending our national gathering of UUs, General Assembly, one year and noticing the Navy had set a booth up. They had learned about Unitarian Universalism, and because of how our faith works, we are basically ideal people to become chaplains, and they were there to try to recruit. I'm not sure how successful they were, as unfortunately, because of how our faith works, we also are not a people who are good with being told what to do. So I thank them for their work. Whatever they called it, I hope that they are finding fulfillment. It can be challenging to do chaplaincy work on a soul level. So I invited them to take care of themselves. I think I was asked to speak about serving people who identify as being non-Christian or Jewish faiths. I wasn't going to do that exactly, as in my opinion, that's not what chaplaincy is about. Or maybe I would talk about it, but not in the way that it had been thought about. That said, if you are interested in learning more about different faiths, I still highly recommend Stephen Prothrow's God is Not One, the 8 rival religions that run the world. He covers Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Judaism, Confucianism, Yoruba religion, Taoism, and atheism. It's a great read, and I highly recommend it. I implied before that the way our faith works is unusual. That's because it's not based on shared beliefs. Almost every answer to a question about what UUs believe about something begins with, "It depends." Christians have at least a shared belief in Jesus as Christ, as Savior, and within given denominations and congregations, shared creeds or statements of belief. Jews go through periods of study to become official members of their communities based on shared beliefs of some kind, a shared history, and including a commitment to questioning. Unitarian Universalists, however, are more invested in sharing practices than sharing beliefs. If you enter a UU congregation sometime, it is likely you will see or hear the words, "We need not think alike to love alike," somewhere. For us, faith isn't about agreeing to particular dogma. Instead, the cornerstone of our faith is covenant. A covenant is an agreement, a commitment, and an aspiration to be together, to journey together as we explore our spiritualities, to support, celebrate, and challenge one another as we go, but ultimately committing to being in that relationship. We know we are going to mess up. That is what it is to be human. But unlike a contract, a covenant asks us to find a way back to each other, to restore right relationship between us and begin anew. It is fundamental to our faith that our congregations are pluralistic. Any congregation is going to have people from a variety of religious backgrounds, and many UUs have what I call hyphenated identities. They are Christian UUs, pagan UUs, Jewish UUs, and so on. And our congregations are likely to have people who now have and or still identify as Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, pagan, atheist, humanist, and may also include Muslims and Hindus and others. So instead of having a shared belief in a particular theological statement or dogma, the way Christian denominations do, we commit to being together and journeying together. You may hear us talk about the importance of deeds, not creeds. Our polity is congregationalist. Each congregation makes their own decisions democratically about who leads, who ministers, how the budget gets managed, and so on. 2 years ago, at our national annual gathering to do the business of the Unitarian Universalist Association, that General Assembly, the delegates from each congregation and our religious professionals voted to replace what were known as the 7 principles with our shared values: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all connected to each other as well as their center, a liberating love. While that is some information about us, when I think about the practice of what that means, I think of one of my favorite children's stories that I learned as an adult in church, God in Between by Rabbi Sandy Eisenberg Sasso. Although I am a non-theist, I love the way that this captures the heart of what I believe faith is and the potential power of chaplaincy. The story is set in a town that has many struggles, and the people decide to send 2 of their own out into the world to find God to help them. The man and the woman go separate ways to cover more ground. They search everywhere, in the desert and the mountains, the sea and the caves, but God is nowhere to be found. They come back together, sunburned and seasick, and start talking, telling one another about their lives. In the morning, they agree to go home. The people in the town ask about God, and the 2 say they did not find God in their searching. The people felt vindicated. They knew God didn't exist. The 2 clarified that that's not what they had said. They said that they didn't find God in their searching out in the world. What they found instead was that God was between them. This is the essence of chaplaincy, to help another find their way to what matters most, to make sense of their experiences and their lives. Of course, chaplaincy is a little different, as there is a power differential, and our role as chaplains is to help someone find their way, not for us to work on finding ours when we're offering care. But chaplains have 2 vital roles in this work: to be companions and to be mirrors. We offer intentional and active listening, compassionate care, reflection of what we've heard, and insight into patterns, gaps, and other pieces of a person's story. As a chaplain, I learned to define people as meaning-seeking, meaning-making, storytelling creatures. Sometimes we find ourselves telling stories that have either ceased to have meaning for us, at least in a helpful way, or we have experiences that we are striving earnestly to have a story for. Maybe something we don't understand or is out of our frame of reference and is causing us distress. In Fire, by poet and educator Judy Brown, she writes, "What makes a fire burn is space between the logs, a breathing space. Too much of a good thing, too many logs packed in too tight can douse the flames almost as surely as a pail of water would. So building fires requires attention to the spaces in between as much as to the wood. when we are able to build open spaces in the same way we have learned to pile on the logs, then we can come to see how it is fuel and the absence of fuel together that make fire possible. We only need to lay a log lightly from time to time. A fire grows simply because the space is there, with openings in which the flame that knows just how it wants to burn can find its way. As chaplains, we help make a little space so that the care seeker can view the story they have with a little distance. The work of chaplains is to understand, sometimes to reframe a story or to tell it using a different lens, offer it back to the care seeker, and to give them a little bit of room to move things around. To do the most vital work we as humans can do, find meaning in our lives and experiences. We make the space for sacred presence to enter and do its work. This doesn't mean that our role is to be a ray of sunshine, nor are we meant to fix or save people. We are meant to help them see themselves and their situations more clearly so that they can find their way, even when it's not what we would choose for them. Sometimes this means we have to compassionately challenge the care seeker. A near-death experience is very likely not the only thing that will keep someone with a substance use disorder from using again. Of course, we don't say this in the immediate response of their trauma, but later, when they've had a chance to process it and begun to shape a narrative about believing that that will keep them safe. We remind them that resources and support are available and how to access them. So while it can be helpful to have some idea of someone's religious identity's bullet points, that's not a chaplain's job. It's good to know that Muslims fast during Ramadan and Jews fast during Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but that cannot tell us about the person's relationship with their God if they believe in one or more. We need the care seeker to tell us their stories. They tell us what their relationship with their deity or deities of choice are, along with how that informs and shapes that person's practices, thinking, and living. Chaplains bring all sorts of tools with us to these encounters: assessment tools, interventions, referrals, spiritual practices, feeling wheels. But empathetic care, listening, and curiosity are the meat and potatoes of chaplaincy. Knowing the scriptures can be helpful for some, but not all. And it's also important to remember that the understanding you have of the scriptures may not be the same as another person's understanding. Different interpretations and resonances will happen even within the same denomination or the same congregation, which is why the accompanying of the care seeker is so important. Ask wondering questions, clarifying questions, questions that can help you understand the other's view. All the knowledge in the world can't help us know this better than the care seeker themselves, and won't necessarily give us what we need to help them grow or change or consider things differently. I am a firm believer that, for the most part, we have the potential to be the sources of our own healing, and we have what we need to achieve that healing. Often what we need is affirmation or permission from another person, or a clear witness in relationship. Without others, none of us can see ourselves as clearly as we think we can. We are all a little biased in our perspectives. We live our entire lives in our own heads, and our brains work hard to make our experiences and living as bearable as possible. So the way we can truly know ourselves well is to be in relationship with others, those with whom we can put our trust in and in their assessments and reflections. I remember going to one particular therapist and having her help me break down situations so that I could see when I was the source of my own problems or where I was responsible for things. I learned to change my behaviors then to prevent continuing to harm myself and my relationships. In my CPE residency and fellowship, I was at a VA and did a lot of work in palliative care and hospice. I met vets there in the process of dying who had never been told that it was okay for them to find God out in the world. Sometimes they would say that they didn't find God in church or in scripture, and not everyone does. They had never been told that it was perfectly acceptable that they found God in hiking or fishing or camping. It was often such a relief for them that they often passed away rather quickly afterward. A final story. Rachel Naomi Remen, MD, who recently joined the Ancestors, writes in My Grandfather's Blessings about some of the many lessons she learned from her grandfather, who was a Kabbalah scholar. Once, when she was 4, he brought her a cup of dirt and told her that if she watered it every day, something might happen. Rachel lived with her parents in a 6th-floor apartment in New York City. She was skeptical of this cup of dirt, which she would not have been allowed to bring into their apartment herself, but she agrees. The first week or so, she waters it with enthusiasm, eager to see what will happen. The next week, she becomes a bit more begrudging about the task, sometimes only remembering to do it after she's been put to bed. But over the course of these several weeks, she does not miss a single day. And one morning, something does happen. 2 little green leaves have begun to peek through the dirt. Raman is delighted and awed. "And all it needs is water, Grandpa?" she asks. "No," he replies, "life is everywhere, hidden in the most ordinary and unlikely places," he says. "All it needs is your faithfulness." May you continue to be faithful in your own lives, in your own ways, and may the ministry that you share with care seekers in the hospital and the faithfulness you cultivate here extend into the care and witness that you provide. If you would please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our closing hymn, Let It Be a Dance.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need to reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. body turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow in the wind, let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Our extinguishing message.
Hear the words of Matthew Esco. Hope resides in the promise that love can always expand, always meet us, always teach us to bring down the mighty, raise up the broken, and rekindle the truth of our interdependence.
I now invite anyone that has just begun to join us or is a guest, if you would like to raise your hand, and Usher will bring a microphone and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Deanna O'Daniel, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm a friend of Diane Carlin's, so she's the one that brought me. And it's so good to see all of you and be around kindred spirits. And I love the service. Thank you so much.
Welcome. If you would like to receive regular communications on upcoming TriUU events, please fill out a card which will be available at the door after the service. This Tuesday morning, there will be a class for those wanting to know more about TriUU.
We did that already. We have to schedule a new one. Yeah, thank you.
We did it already? Okay. We are interested to hear how you experienced this hybrid worship service and/or what you took away from the sermon. For those of you who are on Zoom, raise your hand to speak or type your comment in the chat box. For those here in the Chalice room, please raise your hand. If there is time, and there is, Reverend Kristina will call on you. Please share your name and speak directly into the top of the microphone so we can hear you better. If you wish to be seen on the monitors and by those attending via Zoom, please stand directly in front of the pulpit.
Hi, my name is Liana. This was a great sermon, a great message. We had the experience of having my mother-in-law come to Florida at the end of her life. She was ill, but she wanted to visit Florida. So we ended up in the hospital with her. And at the point in time where she was, that evening, we called the chaplain, just because she was raised Catholic. She was a devout Catholic. And he was so upset because he was not of the Catholic religion. And we said, it doesn't matter. You're here, you're present, you're comforting. She knows that there's another person here, and we were talking to her. But I wish that it might have been a Unitarian Universalist because I didn't know anything about that religion, and she didn't either, but that would have been very beneficial and rewarding too. So this message hit home today. Thank you.
Thank you, Liana. Yvette.
Thank you very much for this service. I just wanted to thank you in particular for reciting the Desiderata, which amazingly is timeless. It's absolutely timeless. It meant something 100 years ago, and it means something today.
Thank you. Oh, Carol.
Thank you. I'm Carol. Thank you for reminding me that I need space, that it's the space that makes the fire, that we can't smother ourselves with concern. And otherwise, you're going to be up at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Thank you, Carol. Tom.
It's interesting the message you get when you come to a service. The thing you said about the story we have that no longer applies to us is a story that I grew up with and referred to my whole life, that story was true. And it doesn't have to be true. It can change. My relationship with a higher power is totally different today than it was as I was growing up. And thank you for that message.
Thank you, Tom. I will say not all chaplains are created equal. Sometimes you will be in settings where the chaplain does not have a lot of training and is trying to convert you or whatever. And when my father was in the hospital last year, I called, he was having trouble breathing, and I wanted them to go and do breathing exercises with them. And it took about 5 minutes of conversation of me explaining what I was hoping from the chaplain in my father's presence, and her finally to say, "Oh, we don't do that. We really just offer prayer." And I was like, "Then please do not go visit him, because that will stress him out even more." So. All right, our closing words today come from Elena Westbrook. Holy and generous love. Go in hope, for the arc of the universe is long, and we can bend it toward justice. Go in courage, for together we have the strength to confront injustice in our daily lives and the larger world. Go in love, because it is a holy and generous love is both the reason and the means by which we transform our lives.
Please join us in the back for fellowship and bagels. There is a sheet in the back if you care to go to brunch, sign up. And Reverend Kristina will be here until 10:20. If you care to stop and say hi, please do. The Zoom room will remain open for 20 minutes.